I just found the intro.
And muted. Done.
Hello and welcome back. It is April 22nd, another Monday. And would you like to test out some Halo games? Maybe you want to work for Bioware. Stay tuned because we've got that and some other things coming up. But first, let me introduce my co-chair, G.
Hey. Yeah.
Apparently it's Krusty the Clown with me today.
Yes, hey everybody. It is news. It is Monday, I think. And as you said, it's Anthem and Halo and PlayStations and Remnants and Divsion news. A lot of work. A lot of jobs.
Well, I guess first up, if you hadn't heard, because somehow this one slipped by me until just recently, if you'd like an opportunity to go in and test some of the Halo software that'll be coming to PC, we've got a link for you can follow. Basically, you just sign up, give them some information on your computer. You can link your Steam account if you like, and get signed up for the Halo Insider. So I am looking forward to this because I don't think I've played Halo since... Well, what was the last one that came to PC? Was it Halo 2?
No idea. I've never played as that Master Halo Chief.
Master Halo Chief. Yeah. But anyway, definitely looking forward to that, and we'll give you a link so you can take a look at it if you want to sign up to beta test some of that stuff that'll be coming out in the coming year.
So it's not a paid thing, it's just early access test. Alpha test.
Yeah, I mean, that's how that stuff works nowadays. You're lucky if you don't have to pay to do the early access testing. But if you want to get paid, maybe you want to look at working for Bioware. Looks like they are looking for folks to help them redesign the loot system for Anthem.
Is that the only thing they need to fix? Or is it just the only thing they think they need help for?
I would say it's probably one of the biggest things that they need to fix, but it is not the only thing they need to fix.
I mean, I'd love to work for Bioware, even the current one. I'm not sure I'm qualified to help with loot, or much of anything really. But nice, if they're looking for people, by all means. I did see somewhere somebody mentioned that apparently more than half the players have already left Anthem, so seems late.
Oh man, I saw a headline last night, I think it was, that said Uno has more people watching it on Twitch than Anthem right now. That's a low blow.
Uno's a good game.
That's the thing. The game is fun to play. I don't...
Which one?
Well, Anthem is fun. I guess Uno is fun as well. I don't know that I've ever played... I've never played an electronic version of Uno, but... Actually, I just picked up some Zelda Uno cards at GameStop the other day. We'll be having fun with those soon. But, no, Anthem itself is fun to play. It doesn't, at least right now, I think because the loot system have a lot of longevity to it. And the storyline for it was rather, I don't know, bland and unfortunately not very interesting. I just got to a point where I was skipping through a majority of it. But you know what? The end game for games like that, the looter shooter type, is really all about the loot. So if they can redesign that and fix that up, they may be able to bring back enough of a player base to extend the life of that game.
Okay. Yeah, no, it seemed like a good game. It just didn't come out well. But at least, Division 2 worked, right?
That one's been a lot of fun, although they've had to delay the latest update that's due out that includes the raid. That is now, instead of coming out, let's see, today's the 22nd, 3 days from now is when I think it was originally due out. It's now been pushed back to sometime in May. So if you were...
Is that the 8-player raid?
Yep. Yeah, so if you were trying to fine-tune your builds and needed some extra time to get some of those set equipment or, whatnot, or, well, now you've got a little bit more time before the 8-player raid.
Also just the idea of having to find 7 other players. Seems scary.
Yeah, I think I might be wrong, but I thought they said they were going to have matchmaking for it. I hope they'll have matchmaking for it. Because I know the typical group of guys I usually run with, we don't have 8. So we'll have to fill a few of those slots.
Yeah, we had the headache in Warframe, the 8-man raids. We basically ended up doing them, I think, 4 or 5-man, which was doable, but it was still as difficult as uphill.
Yeah, and I wonder if there will be smaller teams that try to do something like maybe 4-man teams that try to do that raid and see if they can get through it. I wonder where that delta is going to be where it becomes impossible.
Probably not where the developers think. I think, was it Destiny? The developers were convinced it couldn't be done with less than, was it 2 or 3? And a couple of cases people just walked through them soloed.
Yeah, I don't know if I could see somebody... I guess maybe if you're just like a complete and total badass player, maybe you could get away with trying to solo something like this. That would be kind of cool to watch, though.
All about that cheese.
Well, and speaking of things that are coming out, Rune Ragnarok is due now for full release instead of early access. They were originally planning to come out in early access later this year, but they said that they'll no longer have to utilize that. In a statement they released on Twitter, they said that instead they're going to launch directly into a 1.0 release later this year.
That's kind of nice. It means somebody looked at it and said, yeah, we have confidence in this. Here's the money to go into a 1.0 release instead of early access.
Yeah, they secured some additional funding, which is allowing them to do that now.
Yeah, that's that feels comforting, I would say. My only issue is I saw the tweet and they said, hi Vikings or hello Vikings or something. And if you're that much into old runes and Ragnarok and all things Norse, you would know that Viking is not something you are, it's something you do. So you can't say hi Vikings. It doesn't work.
Well, I suppose, can it be used like soldiers and soldiering?
No.
So, soldiers go soldiering and Vikings go Vikining?
Nope, doesn't work that way. Viking just means you're traveling.
So aren't you then a traveler that's...
Yeah, but you can't say that you're a Viking. You go Viking.
Yeah, I'm sure but that term has been, what do you call it, co-opted?
Misused.
Yeah.
Hurt. Damaged. By people who do not understand anything they're talking about.
But Viking sounds cool.
So does Norse.
Just let people enjoy things.
Yeah, but enjoy it right. Don't break things. Stop ruining my language and my ancestral culture. Good on them that they're releasing, as I said, into a 1.0 later this year, and we should absolutely keep an eye on the game.
Yeah, that's one I've had on my list. I'll jump in and out of their Discord from time to time, and I was playing a little bit of the beta. Definitely looking forward to playing that. And something else I've been looking at since last week when it was brought to my attention is a game called Remnant from the Ashes. This looks like kind of an interesting, possibly slightly creepy co-op shooter. I want to check it out and I want to play it, but what scares me about it is it's a Perfect World game. And yeah, my experience with Perfect World hasn't been great because I used to play Neverwinter Online, and when they took over Neverwinter Online, the grind for that game went up astronomically. So
You're doing it all right.
Apparently,
there were Neverwinter Night persistent worlds. That's how to do it.
I played quite a bit of Neverwinter Nights too. That was definitely a fun game, but I really enjoyed the controls in Neverwinter Online as far as, for an MMO, how you were moving around, how you interacted and attacked things, how you used your skills and abilities. I liked especially the movement in that more than most MMOs. I think probably Neverwinter Online and Elder Scrolls Online are the ones that I like how the movement is.
I skipped both of them. It looked grindy.
Neverwinter Online was grindy when it first came out, but when Perfect World got their claws into it man, it became so much more grindy. So that's one of the reasons I'm a little concerned for what the gameplay for Remnant's going to be like. But it does look interesting. You're running around. The enemy type that you're fighting is, I think they call it the Root, and it's these kind of strange, creepy-looking things that look like they're made out of like, tree trunks and roots and things like that, and stylized after different types of creatures, and looks like there might be some kind of cult or something as well that I don't know if they worship these or brought this whole thing about. It'll be interesting to see what the story is.
Well, you said co-op shooter. Do we really care about the story, or do we just want to shoot things?
Well, look, I love shooters as much as the next guy, but what makes a shooter, stand out amongst the sea of shooters that are out there is an interesting story.
We just talked about Halo, where everybody just rambles on about how it's all about the gun mechanics, how it feels. So, yeah, sure. Story. Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, but why do you think Halo has existed and lasted as long as it did? It has an interesting story. It has a lot of lore. I think there's something to be said about that for Destiny. A lot of people do the same thing. They talk about the gunplay mechanics and the movement in Destiny, and yet there's a lot of extra lore that you can go looking for, and people who do lore channels that are pretty popular. So I think the lore in a shooting game can help it to stand out.
We've done our fair share of covering the lore and backgrounds of Destiny. But no, I'm gonna go with everybody who keeps Destiny and Halo alive are there for the gun mechanics, not for the story. Sorry, people.
No, I didn't say that would be what would keep the game alive. I just said that was what would make it stand out.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm agreeing with you fully, 100%. I'm right behind you, mate.
Yeah, with a spear in my back. All right, well, the last little bits of our news block today, you wanted to talk about some hardware stuff since you didn't get a chance to get into that last week.
Yeah, we had a slight issue Friday, so nothing came out Friday, but one of the big news that has been covered this week quite extensively, but we figured we should also just touch on for good measure, is the PlayStation 5 has been announced. Although they say they were just referring to it as the next gen, as in Sony might not call it the PlayStation 5, but let's be honest, that's what it is. Just some quick notes. It's been in development for 4 years already. It's likely to be released in 2020. It will not be released in 2019. And even if it's 2020, it's probably gonna be late, like as close to Christmas as they can pull it off, but they'll show it earlier. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing more already this summer at E3, etc. Dev kits are being deployed, so a few has already been sent out to developers internally in Sony, the various Sony studios. They have it. The big thing is of course, there's more CPU, there's more GPU. It will be based on the new Ryzen 3000 series, the Ryzen 2 CPUs. What I call it, 7 nanometer tech that's being used to made that by AMD. So apparently quite a beefy CPU, but also a fairly cheapish one. And the big one is, of course, the Navi GPU, which we've talked about before, that it's going into the PlayStation and that it'll probably have ray tracing support, which Sony has now confirmed. At least the version that goes into the PlayStation 5 will have ray tracing support. AMD has said nothing about it, though. Also, weirdly enough, Mark Cerny came out and said a lot about it'll have 3D audio with some special hardware made by AMD, custom hardware. But there's plenty of 3D audio already available. It's kind of like, I'm wondering what they can add that isn't already available on high-end audio cards. So that one's a bit weird. But it would be nice if you can get some proper positional audio just with headsets. Other things, PSVR, the current PSVR headset will be forward compatible with the PlayStation 5. But there's rumors still that there'll be a PSVR 2. And they say 4 and 8K support. Now, 8K support, I don't believe in. Let's just say I think that's optimistic. Probably more a case of, if you have 8K video, it'll play it, but not for gaming. I would be utterly amazed if it could game at 8K at even 30 frames per second in any reasonable game. But 4K, that should be. With the Navi CPU, or Navi GPU, that's what AMD is targeting. They're saying SSD support, it'll be super fast PCIe 4 SSD, but again, They're not saying how much or whether it will be something like Stormeye that AMD has on their PC platform, where you can take an SSD and a regular hard drive and combine together into making something fast, hybrid drive-ish. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way they're going. I doubt they're going to come out with, well, according to them, the fastest SSD available that's faster than anything you can get for desktop PCs at sizes like half a terabyte or even a full terabyte. And then, of course, it'll be backwards compatible, which I think is actually relevant. It'll be interesting to see if it's fully backwards compatible. But that one, for once, I actually agree. It makes sense now. Now that we have online connections that are backwards compatibility, makes sense. With the PS2, PS3, PS1, did not care for it. But now I can see that it makes sense in this generation. And it will be reasonably priced. That one scares me, though, because they also said the PS3 would be reasonably priced. That was 600 bacon tokens. Yikes. So, Drac, any comments?
Well, what would be your guesstimate for the reasonably priced Arena?
With the specs they're mentioning, I'm worried that they're going a little bit towards the everybody wants to be a PC Master Racer idea. And sorry, we use PC Master Racer as a joke. We don't subscribe to that whole fucking idea.
We don't?
Come on. It's an idiotic, but we've gotten comments on videos where people thought we were being serious. So I have to add in the fucking disclaimer. If this computer is, because it is a computer, it is a PC ultimately with some custom parts in it. If it is what they're saying, then as a PC that would be, 1,500 bacon tokens? So reasonable price is anywhere from 600 to 1,000. And if they're going to that direction, everybody wants the most powerful you can get, then they might price themselves out of competition. So again, I'm leaning to probably in the range of 600.
Yeah, I was wondering if it might be like 600 to 800, and at that price,
will absolutely kill them.
Well, as I say, at that price, there is a valid argument to, well, why not just get a PC then?
Yeah, it's coming out 2020, as we said. And that's when the 4000 series of the Ryzen CPUs is supposed to come out with the APUs that also include Navi GPUs. Means you would be able to build a low-end Navi Ryzen computer probably for around 500 bacon tokens. Right now, the equivalent with a Vega is about 400 if you really scrape the bottom on everything.
But don't you think that because they're going to be able to order this stuff in such mass quantities that they'll be able to get discounts that will bring that price down?
Yeah, when the PS4 came out, a lot of people said, I can build a computer that's more powerful, have better specs, everything, cheaper than that. The PS4 came out with 8GB of GDR5 RAM that you couldn't even buy for that price. Well, you couldn't buy it, but even the equivalent prices that were being mentioned wouldn't fit that. I think it's going to be the same here. It's going to have supposedly GDR6, if that's even plausible. I'm a little bit... Nothing has that. But if they go that route and they're going with at least 8, more likely 12GB, you can't buy that, but it will also be, they will have to get that at so much volume that it drops in price. They can buy that volume. The Xbox One didn't have GDR5 because Sony bought out all the volume. They could not get it cheap enough. Microsoft wasn't quick enough. So, volume matters. And is why they're getting a custom Ryzen, a custom Navi from AMD, which is what AMD makes money off. So that matters. But as I said, bottom of the barrel, you could probably build a computer with the same CPU, GPU at least, and some RAM and some hard drive for 500 bacon tokens. But to get it with an SSD and to get it with all the bells that they probably were looking to put in, you're looking at 1,000. So 600 is reasonably priced. If they can push this down to 400, I will be utterly amazed.
I don't know. I don't think I would see it go that low. I would think $499 would be the lowest we'll probably see this go.
Yeah, and here's the headache. Mumsies and pupsies, when they're told, I want a computer, or I want a gaming console more correctly, by the kids, they pick up the cheapest one, which is what Microsoft is reacting to. They're releasing the Xbox SAD, the Xbox S, all digital, SAD, SAD. which will not have a disk drive, so that it becomes the cheapest option. It's 200 bacon tokens, right?
Well, I think in the notes you said it was going to be 250, but how does
In the US,
not,
250, yeah.
Yeah, so how does not having a disk drive make it that much cheaper? Because it's not like those drives cost that much.
No, but it's ooh, supply chain management. Yay, my old job. It's the headache of sourcing it, getting it stocked, all those things, putting it in. That the drive itself is not a lot of money, but having it, having it in the design, getting devices back, the 2% that gets returned for faulty drives eats up things, or eats up money. So removing it just removes so many little things all over the place. And then let's face it, these prices are always around 200, 250, 300, etc., right?
Okay.
It's not 230, 270.
Well, right, but I mean, you're talking about. I thought that PlayStation and Xboxes were usually comparably priced, like pretty close.
They are. They are usually within a few bacon tokens of each other.
So what we're talking about here is an Xbox console that's going to be half the price of the PS5.
Just because the SAD is still just going to be the Xbox One, right? The current generation, whereas the PS5 is the... there's fully expectation the PS4 is hitting 200 as well.
Okay. So no new news on the next brand new Xbox version then?
The Xbox, whatever comes after One, 360, and then One again. No idea.
So
yeah, we should expect to see it sometime this summer, to hear noise about it. But that's just my guess. That's expecting next Xbox to be announced E3 2019. It says in the notes, because that's the best we can say. We have no knowledge of it. Nobody knows. So ultimately, outside of Microsoft.
Yeah, and that's in I think just under 2 months, or right around 2 months from now. So we'll cover that when it comes out. And for those of you who maybe don't know, they usually broadcast all the press stuff online, so you can watch a lot of that stuff on YouTube and Twitch and whatnot.
But yeah, just quickly on the Xbox One S All Digital, the Xbox ad, £199 British pounds, $249 in the US. You get 3 games: Forza Horizon 3 instead of Forza Horizon 4, which came out last year. 3 came out in 2016. Sea of Thieves, which is, it seems to be gotten quite stable. Minecraft that everybody knows. And then you get some kind of discount with the Game Pass. But that's all we know. It's some kind of discount, but what it is, what it amounts to, no idea. And, good luck buying used games or taking your all digital games down to the store for store credit towards the next games. It's going to be, I think there's going to be some mumsies and popsies out there who's going to buy this because it's the cheapest one, and then regret it because, discs are just cheaper. I'm sorry.
Well, those digital games that are in your digital library, if you have an Xbox or Microsoft account, say you already had an earlier version Xbox, those should transfer over, I would think. So
yes.
You'd still be able to play those unless you were going from like a Sony PlayStation to a Microsoft Xbox. So
yeah, but the goal ultimately is to get everybody on the, what is it, $10 a month right now, Game Pass. That's Microsoft's aim.
Got to get that reoccurring income.
Yeah, and killing the used market is also going to help a lot. So that's the whole idea. I'm not for it. I think it's a terrible idea. But for people who know what they're getting and who are already loving the Game Pass, this is an excellent, cheap Xbox One S. But as I said, for when Christmas comes around and little kids want a game console and mom wants to be nice to them, this is going to be an unfortunate purchase for a lot of them. I'm not a fan of this idea.
Well, I suppose it's only unfortunate if they're going from PlayStation to Xbox.
No, as I said, people are just getting it for the first console for a kid. For them, this is going to be less than optimal.
I don't know. It can do more than the Atari I got when I was a kid.
Yes, it can.
But all right, that's going to wrap up our news block for this week. We went a little bit long since we weren't able to get news out on Friday, and we wanted to include the console stuff today. So thanks for sticking with us. Hope you'd enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up, a like, all the fun stuff. If you like what you hear here, make sure you subscribe so you can get notifications whenever we put new videos out. We do try to get new videos out 3 times a week. Mondays and Fridays are news blocks. We've been slacking a little on the Fridays, but we'll go kick the butts that need kicking, see if we can't get that back online again. And then, of course, Wednesdays is our regular podcast show where we do developer interviews and talk about video games and our once-a-month comic shop talk segment. So, once again, from us, thank you. And this is Drac. I'm out.
Yeah, hey, kids, and don't forget to subscribe. Oy vey.
Krusty the Clown, come on. No?